Hey everybody, it's Libby. I'm back on the WootRecruit YouTube channel. What is WootRecruit? Well, we are a recruiting process designed specifically for the high turnover industry, such as cleaning, lawn care, roofing, construction. If you're in the service industry, we are a recruiting solution for you. And I have an amazing guest today. Kimberle is our guest, and I always want to start out. Well, first, Kimberle, I'm going to let you introduce yourself before I start drilling you with questions.
Okay. I am Kimberly Nesselt. I have a residential cleaning company in Broward County. We've been in business about 3.5, going into our fourth year. And yeah,
Yeah, she started her business during COVID, which is, you know, it's while
it was a
other
leap
people
of
were going
faith.
out of business. Yeah, while people were closing their doors, she opened her doors and started a business during COVID, which is exceptional to say the least. And so I always start out with asking our guest on the WootRecruit channel as what is like the number one hiring mistake you recall making? Like it could just be a general memory, a specific memory. What's the one where you're like,
Desperation.
oh crap,
It
that
was
was horrible?
desperation hires. It's like I would see that someone just resigned the week before, and I have all these jobs to fill, and I didn't want to jump in and have to go back into the field. And so it was desperation. They're here, they're at the interview. Can you start tomorrow? Can you work next week? So I would say desperation hire has been the biggest mistake.
Desperation. So, statistically, they say that that is the number one mistake we make.
Yeah.
And I think we've all been there. And it's just like either we don't know what we're looking for or we're desperate. Like our back is up against the wall. We don't want to go back in the field. Um, or we're just like, we have no process to our hiring. So we're just like using our gut which is gut is good, but and bad sometimes. Or like for when I used to do the interviewing, I used to think I could fix everybody.
And my husband kept telling me, stop being their mom. They have a mom. They don't need you to be their mom. But we would see people move into the area that had kids and they don't have family here. So they did well on the report cards, and I ran out and got them cards and little gifts to say someone was proud of them. And he's like, and then they would leave. Ultimately, they're not your long-term employees. And my husband would say, stop being so generous, be their boss. He's like, you can be kind, but you
Man,
can't always be over the top. And that for me, that was hard because I like to be giving and I like to let them know. I feel like as a small business, they need to know we care. But what I've noticed is the more I seem to care, they don't really care that I care.
so I love this topic. We could talk about this topic. Is showing that side of you of that you're a small business that you care. Like I used to go out and buy Valentine's cards and
Yeah,
a card for every holiday and gifts, and they would still leave or they didn't have the appreciation for the gift. So I had to learn how to show my appreciation. I had
right.
to learn how to show I cared without like buying a card or like some goodies from the Dollar Tree that I put together in a basket that meant more to me than it did them.
Right.
So, Kimberle, how did you shift from, you know, like as Joe said, trying to be their mom? How did you shift from that to being a boss, but a boss that shows that they care? How do you do that now?
So I changed the way I gift give. So I still like to give something, but I try to give something that I know that they will appreciate. So because we don't pay for gas, every now and then I will give a gas card. Hey, I saw you traveled a little bit further and I just thought I would give you this. They're super appreciative of that and they love that. I have two older technicians that are really the heart of our business. They are the busiest technicians. They never have an opening, and they're both friends. So I got them massage gift cards to go get massages together. It's not something they would ever do on their own. And so I've just tried to figure out a different way to let them know, hey, I know this is hard on your body. Take care of yourself. Or I know gas is going up. Here's a gift card every now and then. Just things that let them know that I'm in touch with what they're going through. Um, So that little shift in, I think that old teacher mentality of, oh, I want to give you something cute and something really sweet that they didn't appreciate for something that they will.
Yeah. So not being so generalized in the gift giving,
Right.
um, getting to know them, being a little bit more specific. For us, we have a survey that we have our technicians fill out, and it asks them a whole bunch of questions like, what's your favorite drink? What's your favorite chips? What's your favorite color? um, so that way, if we have to, not have to have, but if we're having a party or we're having something or we're giving a gift, we can give a more detailed gift. Like,
Yeah.
how many kids do they have? How old are the kids? One year for Christmas, like I bought all of our, instead of buying all of our techs gifts, I bought all of their kids gifts.
Oh,
And so that was super meaningful to me because it was a way to give back and it not feel like it wasn't as impactful sometimes when we're giving a general gift. But, with the gift giving, I love that. So what are some other things that you do to help improve culture? Right? Because I feel like you have such empathy, like, and kindness that you show to your technicians, even to people that are just your friends. Like me and Kimberly are just friends, but like her level of empathy and compassion, I want to know, how do you use that to help build your culture in your business?
I think when I go to do interviews, um, I'm getting better at asking certain questions. I like to know, do they want, a lot of times the people that are coming to us come from companies that have multiple people going out in a field together. So I like to ask them, are you comfortable cleaning alone and being by yourself? Because some of them aren't. And so I like to be very aware of what their comfortability is. So I guess it's being more mindful of, are they going to be the ones that really like to be on teams that are deep cleaning and doing first time general cleans all the time so that they can be with others? Or are they, I just want to make money and I'll work 2-3 jobs a day. I just want to do my thing and I don't want anybody else holding me back. So I kind of think to get to know them a little bit better and find out what their expectations of this job are and find the right fit for them as far as if we are going to be the right fit. Because I would say 90% of our jobs are solo. As the summer approaches, we get more move in, move outs. And then they have the opportunity to be on teams. But I like to find out what their level of comfort is. Some girls are like, there's no way I'm going into a house by myself. I don't want to do it by myself, so you really have to find out what their level is.
And what would you say to the people who are just like, no, I just want to do it for the money? Like, give me everything you got.
Uh, I've noticed that they don't really stick around. The last one I just had, she was like, give me everything. I'd fill her schedule and then she would call out. And then I'm panicking because she's begging me the week before, I need to make money. I need to make money, fill my schedule. And I do. And so I think the business owner side of me gets very nervous when I hear that because I feel like, do you really? Or are you just asking me to fill your schedule? I can't figure that out. And for me, that's the most nerve-wracking part is when you do fill their schedule. Because, when you bring someone on board, it's, for me, that's the most stressful part is, okay, we've got to fill their schedule. And so that's when I do put a little pressure on myself. And I'm like, okay, this person is expecting us to get them money in the door and in fast. And so that pressure, I want to make sure that they are really on board and they are going to take those jobs seriously that we do put on them.
Yeah. I think for us, what I found is when people are like, oh, I just give me everything you got. I want to make money, money, money. We like that because we think that they're motivated to make money. Like, we like that because we think they need it. But I also feel like they are the faster ones to leave because if they get an opportunity to just make $1 more,
They're gone.
or 50 cents a more, and it's perceived $1 more or 50 cents more, they will leave because they are after the money.
Right.
Which obviously everybody's after money. But with that mentality, we see that they leave us as well pretty quickly. If, they get an offer for different, like, oh, okay, we'll pay your gas. But in reality, I'm paying them more. It's just perceived value. So that happens to us as well. So, as far as your culture and your recruiting, are there some great interview questions that do you have like one go-to question that helps you gauge on someone's values?
On their values,
Or how do you see if this person fits my values? Is it through questions or body language or the way they answer?
so a lot of times when I've known that they've really read our values and they look at our list that's on our ad, they'll come in and say, "I loved your ad. It meant a lot to me to see that you're a family-based company, that you care about us not being overworked." Those candidates tend to be the ones that stay and are really appreciative of the job. But as far as the one question that I tend to go to, it's how do you adjust to change? Because some people don't like a cancellation that just happened and then what are we going to do for the rest of the day? And can you fill it right away? And, so to me, that they can adapt and change and it's not going to completely throw them off is a big one for me, because we've had that in the past where they'll just quit and say, "I don't like the changes. It's changed one day. I'm on this job." I had a girl that every Sunday would write out every one of her jobs on a notebook and never look at her jobber until she got to the job. And I'm like, you can't do that, because sometimes I swapped you or changed you, and she would get to a job and realize she wasn't there. And, finally she quit because she said there's too much change. And I'm like, well, that's one of the main questions I asked, is how do you handle change? And make sure you check your jobber all the time to see that there has been no change. So I think that's my biggest go-to.
And what kind of responses are you looking for from the candidates from that question?
Oh, that yes, I can handle change. It doesn't have to be in stone every single week. I have one child that is when she was little, when we used to go somewhere, she would say, "Where are we going?" And we would say, "Okay, we're going here, here, and here." If you threw in one extra thing, forget it. Complete meltdown in the back of the car. You didn't say we were going there. So for me to find that employee that can adapt to those changes, not be completely thrown off, I'm looking that they can handle that.
I love that. We epically failed at Organize It a couple years ago. We went through 5 people in 5 days. No one stayed for onboarding. And I was like, oh my God, this is insanity. Like, stop hiring, stop interviewing. We have to figure out what's going on. And I called all 5 of them. Like, I was begging them. I was calling them. I was texting them. I'm like, please just give me some feedback. Like, why did you leave? Because they all left really, really kind. Like, they're like, you guys are the greatest. Oh, we love you guys. Like, you're so nice. Thank you so much. Like, your team is amazing. And I'm like, what are we doing? Like, something is broken somewhere. And I finally got a few people to respond to me. And long story short was, we were allowing for so much change in the first 5 days. Like, the scheduler was readjusting, putting them with different trainers and changing houses. And we didn't make sure that we were not really abusing that change, right? Because it was too much in the first 5 days. And it was creating complete chaos. And when people are starting a new job, it's new people, new environment, new information, right? And that is just scary alone, adding on like changing a schedule and cancellations and bumping cleaners to other houses. So I agree 100%. Our cleaning technicians have to adapt, have to be okay with change. But we made the mistake at Organize It where we were throwing way too much change in the first 5 days when they were trying to learn, when they were trying to like get comfortable with the company, and going into strangers' houses is uncomfortable just in general. And so we learned our lesson with how important the first 5 days of onboarding is, when it comes to change, how it can scare so many candidates away. But once you ease into it, like they've gotten trained, they're okay with a cancellation and a readjustment of the schedule. But for us, it costs us a tremendous amount of money because it's expensive to go through 5 people in 5 days. But it was a big lesson because we didn't realize that our scheduler was changing it without like consent. She was just playing around, moving stuff around. And it just created complete chaos in our business for a while until we figured out, because we didn't know what it was.
Right.
And it was so interesting to see. But that is one of our questions too in our interview as well. It was how do you handle stress? And you would be blown away by some of the answers. Some of them are okay. And then some of them are like, whoa, like TMI, too much information. But it's an interesting, because our job, believe it or not, for cleaning staff, or even if you're doing mowing or pool cleaning, if you're dealing with customers at customers' houses or in customers' houses, it can be a highly stressful job.
Yeah.
Because you're walking into unknown circumstances, you're walking into pets, you're walking into kids. Like last week, my technicians walked into a couple fighting.
Oh no.
Like you're walking into, and it can be stressful, let alone just the job itself.
Right.
So love that question. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. We've been on for just a little over 15 minutes. But again, this is Libby on the WootRecruit YouTube channel. So that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you, Kimberle, for being on and helping guide our listeners through the ins and outs of recruiting and building that culture. Remember, for more insights and strategies, to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, keep pushing those boundaries of what you thought was possible with your hiring process.
Thank you.